105 horsepower. Hi and welcome back to TBTV. So this is quite an exciting video for me. I've held off doing this video for a few weeks now for a couple of reasons. In part, the weather has been absolutely horrendous, and secondly, the title of the video kind of suggests obviously that I now own a 2020 Mark V Toyota Supra, and the car has created quite a lot of debate, shall we say. So I kind of wanted to wait to see what the actual realistic ownership of the car was like in terms of my own personal experience before making a video. So I've got about 1,500 miles on the car now, so I feel like I'm in a good place to be able to kind of give my opinion on the car, taking into account all of the kind of Toyota / BMW criticism that the car and the projects had over recent months. So let me talk you through the car that I purchased and we'll go from there. So this is the 2020 Mark V Toyota Supra. This car is in ice grey. This is the Pro version. Now there was only 3 models available in the UK. I mean 2 that were kind of more mainstream rather than, I think there was an A90 version which was a very limited run, which unfortunately I wasn't able to get access to. But you had a Pro version and the standard, and essentially the only real difference between the Pro and the standard version was, I think, head-up display, JBL audio system, and an additional USB port is my understanding of it. So not a huge amount, but nonetheless I think it was only about £1,200 difference in the cost. So actually it's not a bad upgrade for the money, to be honest with you. So yeah, this is the ice grey. I'm really quite fond of it, to be honest with you. It's quite subtle, but at the same time it's not too bland. Not a huge fan of the wheels, to be honest. I don't like the chrome elements on them. I don't like chrome on any car these days, so highly likely that I'll be looking to have those dipped in some way. Probably make them matte black to match the body colour trim either side of it. As you can see, you've got red brake calipers. I think there are 2 pots on the back and 4 pot on the front. I do have some Supra logos to go on the front calipers. I also have some carbon fibre wing mirrors to replace these rather boring black ones. Not quite sure why they didn't body colour them, but there you go. So I've got something to replace those. So yeah, all very BMW-esque. You can't deny it, can't hide it. So from my perspective, I don't have an issue with it. To be honest with you, actually living with the car a little bit now, it's actually a really fantastic car to drive, irrelevant of its makeup and who built what. I think that's the key thing to remember here, rather than getting too kind of carried away with the fact that it has the Supra badge on, so therefore it has to be completely aligned with something in the past. You know, this is making a new statement for itself. And what's really interesting, bring you back round, is that we're now seeing the tuning community really starting to get behind the car. I mean, in the US there are multiple and numerous brands making body kits, exhausts and all sorts of bits for the car, which is really nice to see. So I do believe that this car will at some point in time achieve a similar status to that of the original. Once you can get over the fact that it isn't only a Toyota, it's obviously you know, a large part of it is BMW. But like I said, from my perspective as a car to drive, it's fantastic. I mean, you can daily this quite easily. It really isn't a hassle in normal mode. The suspension's very forgiving. Yes, when you put it in sport mode, it certainly does liven up and stiffen up, but you know, I've done a little trip to the continent and we found it extremely comfortable with a decent sized boot. It was actually a really useful option to take, rather than say maybe the Evoque. But yeah, so far my experience of the car's been very good. I've had nothing to grumble about, and I guess you would think not after 1,500 miles. We have got a couple of bits to put on the car already. So just jump in here. So what have we got? So the steering wheel is rather boring, to be fair. It's probably one of the, you know, bugbears, I guess you could call it, or something that I feel they could have done a little bit more with. And this big section here is quite ugly. So I've actually got a carbon fibre insert to stick in there, just to bring it in line with the rest of the carbon fibre in the car. So I'll do a video on installing that. And also this piece will go top and bottom of this silver rail, so in here and in here. So again, just a bit more carbon detailing to lift the interior, which is quite dark, to be honest. The only colour option you had on the interiors with the A90 came with a red interior, irrespective of the outer body, but every other car comes in this kind of black, I guess you would call it, or maybe anthracite leather finish. Leather's quite nice and soft. The seats are really comfortable, certainly bolster you enough to hold you in when you're progressing, but you know, not so bolstered that they're not comfortable either. You can see the JBL hi-fi. Get a nice little welcome screen. Don't think you can change the colour of the car, which is unfortunate. So yeah, so far so good. Let's take the car out for a drive and I can talk you through my feelings on the way the car drives and things like that. So you join me in the Mark 5 Toyota Supra. We're in normal mode at the minute. Excuse the sunglasses, sorry about that, but we've got a very low winter sun today. Like I say, in normal mode, the car is super compliant, very easy to just cruise in. The radar cruise control is very good, actually monitors your speed and adjusts to the car in front, which is really useful. I've not had that on a car before, so I'm still getting used to that, but I have to say that's a real useful tool to have in the car, certainly with all the speed limits and things that we have around the country at the minute on the main roads. But yeah, so you know, very compliant, very easy to drive. I mean, I wouldn't even, certainly coming out of the Fiesta is extremely firm in comparison to this, which I wasn't expecting. I was actually expecting this to be certainly equal to, if not more, but actually in normal mode, this feels anything, you know, certainly 50% less harsh than the Fiesta. And in a funny sort of way, I don't feel the need to drive this car particularly quick. It actually kind of promotes a more relaxed driving style. Yes, of course, you can drive it quickly if you want to, but you know, the way that it's set up with the automatic gearbox and the relative comfort of normal mode, it really doesn't really beg you to want to drive it too hard. Whereas the Fiesta certainly seems to kind of be the opposite. It kind of wants to be driven hard all the time, to a point. So very different driving styles, you know, very different cars. But like I say, from my perspective of ownership of this car and taking out all the Toyota/BMW drama that seems to be banded around, it is just a really very good car and very easy to drive. I'm super impressed. So I haven't mentioned the engine and gearbox. So this is actually running the BMW B58 inline 6-cylinder engine. On paper, Toyota say it's pushing out 335 horsepower. I'm pretty confident it's significantly more than that, probably nearer 370, based on a lot of the videos I've seen of dyno runs of standard cars. So, and the performance, it certainly feels a lot quicker than that. The gearbox is a ZF gearbox. It's not a dual clutch, it's a single clutch, but it's still pretty quick. I mean, it can get a bit clunky at lower speeds sometimes, I feel, but actually, you know, once you're off and running, it's actually perfectly acceptable and actually changes really quickly, certainly in manual mode on the paddles. And that ZF gearbox isn't a BMW gearbox, it's one that's used in the automotive industry, you know, in various different cars. So that's not necessarily a BMW part. The engine, of course, is. Positives of using that engine, obviously it's a well-known engine block. It's had quite a lot of work done to it as an M40i and stuff like that already, so there's quite a lot of known ways of tuning that engine and things like that already, and there's some, you know, significant numbers being created already in these cars, you know, 600-700 horsepower already, and that's within probably, you know, 6 months of the car being out. I certainly don't think that the original Supra was being tuned to that level quite that quickly when it originally came out, and it certainly didn't have the same power as this. I mean, I think it was around 300 horsepower from memory. So this is up significantly on the original format. So we're still in normal mode here. I'm just going to find a bit of road where I can stretch the car's legs. Obviously, with that sort of power, you need a reasonable straight to do something like that. So let's just knock it down into sport mode. Most definitely more than 335 horsepower. Judging by the colour of my wife's face. Yeah, it really does get the power down. I mean, it's a bit dry there, so there was no slip at all. You get quite a lot of pops and bangs from the exhaust when the sport mode's engaged, because it has got a Valvetronic system in the exhaust. I'll cut in some cold start and some sport mode revving as well, just so you can see what it sounds like. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, my thoughts on this Supra are, you know, the reality is it's just a fantastic car to drive. It really is. There really isn't too much bad about it. I mean, there is no such thing as a perfect car, let's be honest, and there's probably things that I would probably tweak, like I've said in the driving video. But all said and done, you know, it's a sports car. It isn't going to be uber practical, but in essence it does that job really well as a sports car. No, it's not a hypercar, but I think, you know, there's quite a few things that you can do to this car that are pretty straightforward, that will really increase the performance quite significantly without too much effort. I will be doing some things like that during the course of the ownership of the car. Looking at obviously a simple remap initially. I think Litchfield look like they have a product that should take the car up to probably 440 horsepower, which is a significant gain over the probably 370 that it's running right now. So that's something that I'll be looking into. But like I said, you know, from my perspective, great car to drive, and you know, it's just, to be honest, comparing this product to say the BMW Z4, that it's kind of, you know, its sister car if you like. This car gets a lot more attention than something like that would, and to be honest with you, I've had nothing but positive feedback from everyone that I've met and talking about the car, and quite a lot of people being really excited about it. So from my perspective, it's been nothing but a positive experience so far. The Fiesta's still here, as you can see. that's still a large part of the channel, so I have quite a lot of things to still do on this car as well. So I have the Mountune short shift piece that came through just before Christmas, so I'll be fitting that in the coming couple of weeks, so I'll do a full install video on that. And like I say, so this Fiesta's not going anywhere. This is my Monday to Friday car, and right now the Supra is a weekender. So like I said, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.